Guys, with these 6 simple steps, literally anybody is going to be able to get abs in less than 90 days if they just lock all of these things in. Guys, this is my guy Mark right here. He was able to get abs. He's never seen his abs in his whole entire life, and I coached him. We worked together for 2 months, and these are the results that we saw by just implementing these things and perfecting them on a daily basis. And it doesn't matter if you're fat, it doesn't matter if you're skinny. Me personally, I was a super skinny kid, but at the same time I was skinny fat. So I was skinny, but I didn't have abs, and I had man titties at the same exact time. And I would see, I would start going to the gym, I would start seeing progress. But at the same time, I was gaining muscle, but I was still skinny fat. Like, I still didn't have abs. And it was because I was eating fast food. I was eating fried chicken. I didn't know what a good diet even looked like. I didn't know about progressively overloading. I didn't know about being intentional with everything. I didn't know about how important testosterone is to seeing progress. And I didn't know so many certain things. And that limited me from getting abs earlier. It limited me from looking better earlier. And I learned the lessons and all those things. And basically what I do with all my clients is I avoid all those same mistakes that I made when I first started. So basically, right, I wrote everything down on this whiteboard. It all ties back to your testosterone, right? Because your testosterone is basically the building block of you putting on muscle, recovering quickly, having confidence, feeling good, having high energy. It all ties back to your testosterone, right? So if you want to have abs, your testosterone has to be good. Because the thing is, if you're fat, you don't have high testosterone. You can't. Your body physically, it just doesn't work that way. And when you have high testosterone, your body naturally shreds fat effortlessly. And, it's just so much easier to see progress when you have high testosterone. But these are basically the 6 pillars, the 6 keys, right? The first one is fasting. My last meal is at 8 p.m. And then the next one is going to be around 10 a.m. or probably even later. Sometimes I go until 12 p.m. or 11 a.m. and I give myself a window, I give my body a window to fast, and that's what you need because it primes your body to shred fat. And then when your body is fasted, it taps into your fat for energy instead of your glucose, because you don't want it to tap into your glucose, you don't want it to tap into your muscles. And that's why fasted cardio is so effective. That's why working out while fasted as well is very effective, and that's what I do. I always work out in the morning around 6 a.m. when I'm fasted, and then I'll get a meal in later in the day or after my workout, and then you actually, deserve the meal. You feel like you earned it, and you're teaching yourself to reward yourself after doing something important. And, while you're working out, your body is tapping into your fat, like I said, for the energy, and you're shutting off that fat easily, you know what I mean? And it's the same thing if you do fasted cardio. Your body taps into your fat, shredding that fat off easily. And that's why fasting is so important. Especially if you're more overweight. You should probably even open up that window. Only give yourself 6 hours to eat. Or maybe 8 hours to eat. You just eat in that window. And outside of that window, only water. If you just drink water, it diminishes your body's appetite to eat. So that's the most effective thing you can do to diminish your appetite. Eat water. Drink water, my bad. Or just eat fruits. Fruits are super amazing. It's very hard to overeat on apples and bananas. It's very hard to do that. It's easy to overeat Doritos and all these things. That's how you get fat. That's how your abs become non-existent. The other thing is you need to fill out your frame. Once I actually filled out my frame, that's when my abs started popping out on a different level. And once I started filling out my frame, that also increases your testosterone, because when you put on muscle, it increases your testosterone. When you put your muscles through stress, it increases your testosterone. When you progressively overload, it increases your testosterone because you're putting your body through challenges it's never been through. Gain strength. Once you gain strength, you physically feel the weight go up. Guess what's going to happen? Your muscles are going to get stronger. You're going to fill out your frame. Your abs are going to pop out more. And once you build muscle, it also primes your body to shred more fat. Why do you see so many fat people, right? When they're losing weight and they're in the gym, right? They're putting on muscle in the gym. You see them put on more muscle and then shred fat at the same exact time, because that's how our body works. When you put on muscle, it naturally just shreds fat because, in order to build that muscle and repair it when you're sleeping, what do you think it taps into? It taps into your fat. Your muscles are built while you're sleeping. So when fat people go to the gym, they start getting stronger. They start doing weight they've never done. When they're sleeping, they're actually shredding off that fat, they're getting those abs. That's what we need. The diet, a whole foods diet. Me personally, right? My diet really consists of the top sources of protein. If you guys want to know what the top sources of protein, just comment down below and I'll let you know. But it mainly consists of grass-fed ground beef, steak, red meats, bison. Avoid pork, avoid turkey. If you're gonna eat chicken, only eat chicken breasts because the chicken thighs aren't as good. What else? Avoid processed meats like salami, things like that, because those actually, those increase your chances of having cancer. Those are super bad for you. They have a lot of BS in that, and we don't need to eat that if we want the best progress. And then I eat one of those top sources of protein with carbs, right? White rice. That's really it. White rice, sweet potatoes or normal potatoes, onions. Those are also sauteed, caramelized onions. Those are some good carbs. But usually just white rice. I just like to keep it simple. I like to be consistent with what I eat. A lot of people want to switch it up on a daily basis, but the more changes you make, the harder it is to really be consistent with what you're doing. And cutting out sugar is a big one. This is where most people go wrong, and they're obsessed with eating sugar, eating fucking all these little snacks, that are eating Coke, eating Sprite, or drinking Coke, drinking Sprite. When you pout and you put so much sugar in your body like that, it just literally just turns into fat immediately. That's not gonna benefit you at all. Like, even when you're drinking coffee, just minimize the amount of sugar you put in, because you're not realizing it now, but there's so many negative downsides to that. There's so many negative effects to sugar. So it's just about minimizing it. Obviously, the way we live, it's very hard to just eat no sugar at all, but it's about minimizing it as much as possible so you can see your abs. And especially if you're extremely overweight, you're gonna need to take extreme measures to see progress. Another thing is sunlight. This is a huge one, right? Sunlight. When your body is in the sunlight, it naturally primes your body to burn fat and put on muscle. Like, literally, when you're in the sunlight, your body just starts burning off fat. And you don't want to overdo it. You don't want to be in the sun for like 2-3 hours, but like 30 minutes is the recommended amount. 30 minutes, direct contact with your chest and back, no shirt at all. If you go on a walk at the same time, it's golden. That is the best thing you can do. You want to get sunlight, when the sun, usually I do it around, in the afternoon, because that's when the sun is really the strongest, but at the same time, it's more intense. But you need to know where's your limit, because if your body isn't used to being in the sun and you just go straight into the sun, it could, you could get sunburned. But it's about acclimating your skin to get more used to it, and then it increases your testosterone as well, because vitamin D, it's like, bro, we need that to boost testosterone. We need that to feel good. We need that to have high energy. Your body needs that. So getting at least 30 minutes of sunlight daily, your body's naturally going to shut off that fat. You're going to be able to get that abs. It's like a lot of people tell you guys like, oh, you need to only hit abs. But it's like, bro, hitting abs and working out your abs is only going to take you so far. If you're not optimizing all these other things, bro, it doesn't matter how much you can hit your abs an infinite amount. You're never going to see them. Me personally, I honestly rarely hit my abs. I rarely do it. Even when I was first starting in the gym, I would hit it occasionally, maybe once a month, maybe once every 2 weeks. But it was not something I really focused on, because I saw my abs when I just optimized everything else. And yes, I would still hit it occasionally, but even if I didn't hit my abs occasionally, they would still show, they would still look good. It was because I was filling out my frame. When you progressively overload in other compound movements, your abs are naturally already being hit, so you're still already working it out. You know what I mean? But yeah, sunlight is super important. Cardio, 10K steps. This is a given. 10K steps, this is like, bro, come on. This is light work, especially if you're super overweight, especially if you want to see results now, bro. And not only is this going to get your abs and shut off that fat, this literally boosts your life expectancy by so much. It makes you so much healthier. Just the fact that you're moving around, because we're meant to move around. And another thing is to avoid high intensity cardio. Look, running is amazing too. I love running. Don't get me wrong. But if you're trying to shred fat, running isn't the best type of cardio, because the problem with running is that it taps into your glucose and your muscles for energy. And it's not tapping into your fat. It's not burning off that fat. Yes, it burns more calories, but at this, it's not tapping into your fat. Like it's burning calories, but not the fat that we need. We need to burn off that fat, and that's what walking does. Walking taps into your fat. It burns off the fat. Another thing is training, right? These are the two best. These are the two best ab workouts right here. Decline sit-ups. Usually I put a 45-pound on my chest and I just do it. Decline sit-ups. These are amazing. I feel the stretch. These are super good. And then hanging leg raises. I'm gonna be honest. These are really the only two you need. These two are absolutely amazing. They're amazing. But just to give you guys a quick overview, right? The main thing is optimizing your testosterone. How we're gonna do that? By eating whole foods, by getting stronger, by fasting, giving ourselves a window. Look, if you're just starting to fast, the best window to give yourself is around 8 to 10 hours. Actually, not even 8 to 10. I would say 10 to 12 hours. That is the best window to give your body, right? Because you're priming your body to shed fat. 8 to 12 hours, and then you just get in all your macros, all the food you need to eat, you know, in between that. You know what I mean? In between that. And then, so look, fasting, 10K steps a day, get sunlight 30 minutes a day. These are the training that you need to do. These are important, but at the same time, this is way more important. Eating whole foods, getting stronger, and it's like, yeah, that's basically all you need. And optimizing your testosterone. You know, the main things that kill your testosterone, first of all, are, you know, drinking from plastic water bottles. First of all, that kills your testosterone. Anything that's processed, bro, if it has a million ingredients on the back, don't eat it. If you're eating a barbecue sauce and has a million ingredients on the back, don't eat it. Because that's what I did. A couple weeks ago, I bought a barbecue sauce. It had a bunch, like a million ingredients that I couldn't even pronounce. I was like, bro, why am I eating this? It doesn't matter if it tastes good. It's killing my testosterone. It's going to kill my health, how I feel, everything. So I'd rather just not eat it, you know? And it's like you could just replace it with something that actually is healthy. How else do you optimize your testosterone? High quality meats, grass fed, right? That's another thing that I didn't talk about. Grass fed, organic is good. It's better than normal, but grass fed is the best. We need grass fed meat because if the cows that you're eating are eating bullshit, you know, that's exactly what you're gonna be eating, and we don't want that. So grass fed for the diet, high quality, right? High quality carbs, white rice, simple. Keep it simple. Training. Alright, but we basically overwent everything, right? The key is optimizing your testosterone. We went over everything. If you guys have any questions, let me know. You know, these things are super simple, right? But it's about how you execute it. And if you're not able to execute this correctly, you know, you're not gonna really see the progress that you want to see. And basically what I do for all my clients is I make sure that they flawlessly execute on everything they need to be doing on a daily basis, you know, and I keep them accountable. I give them the right systems in place that they need, you know, in order, you know, to see progress. And I'm basically there with them every single step of the way. You know, because, you know, when you have somebody there with you that has been through the same situations that you're trying to overcome, you know, it just makes everything 20 times easier. And like I said, my guy Mark, you know, he's killing it. We never even track macros ever. He ate a bunch of meals that, you know, were super simple, that fit towards him. He was also, you know, in med school as well. You know, he's gonna become a surgeon. He also worked a job on top of that, but we still found time to optimize all these things so that we can see gains. We still found time to eat the right meals, do our 10K steps, go on our workout, see progress in our workouts, not just work out just to work out, but actually work out with intention. And that's basically what I do for all my clients. And, you know, Mark is killing it, and that's what it's about. It's about implementing and actually executing on the things on a daily basis. But if any of you guys, you know, are interested in me being there with you every single step of the way and keeping you accountable and giving you the right systems in place that are going to ensure, because the thing is, this is an insurity that you're going to see the results that you want to see. And if that sounds like something you're interested in, go ahead and book a call with me down below if you're genuinely serious about this. And I'm looking forward to speak with many of you guys, you know, that are looking to improve, looking to get better. And yeah, guys, thank you for watching the video. If you have any questions, leave it down below. I'm gonna put my IG in the link below. And yeah, guys, let's get it. Peace out.